rival baseball player once said of him, "He can beat you more ways than any man alive." His daring play earned him a place in baseball's Hall of Fame.
I've got to confess to you people that I've been negligent about reading a book that was given to me about 5 years ago.
This is Robert Peterson, and I am the author of Only the Ball Was White, which is a history of Negro baseball before Jackie Robinson. It covers the years between the beginning of the 20th century and 1946, when Jackie Robinson became the first admitted black player to play in the organized leagues of baseball. In researching that book, I discovered that Jamestown is worth a large footnote in the history of Negro baseball because it was receptive to black players at a time when most cities were not.
In 1890 and 1891, Jamestown was represented in the old New York Penn League. This is a league that preceded the league that the Jammers are in now, by a team, and the first baseman for that team was a man named R.A. Kelly. Kelly was a black man. He had played earlier in Danville, Illinois, in a league there. And the Jamestown papers, interestingly, never referred to the fact that he was black, but he was known to be black, and he was so identified in early sporting papers. But the Jamestown Evening Journal never mentioned it at all. Kelly, by the way, was quite a good player. I don't know how Jamestown made out in those 2 seasons in the New York Penn League.
Well, to answer the question, the 1890 team of Jamestown in the New York and Pennsylvania League, its first professional baseball team, was a pennant winner. The team was under the management of Herbert Whitney II and played its home games at Marvin Park. Where was Marvin Park? An 1880 map of the city of Jamestown showed Marvin Park being west of Washington Street toward the boat landing. At various times, Marvin Park was used as a horse racing track. Due to its location, however, it was subject to the whims of the water level of the Chautauqua outlet, as well as the temperament of Mr. Warner, who had control of the dam as it ran through the city of Jamestown. Since this was the first season of professional baseball in Jamestown in an organized league, what was the reaction of the city? The first reference we find in the Jamestown Evening Journal of May 12, 1890. The baseball season. Everyone who can leave business and who is fond of the national game will next Thursday attend the opening of the league season by the Jamestowns and Oleans on Marvin Park. After 2 rain delays, the Evening Journal of the 16th announced prospects for a good game of ball at Marvin Park this afternoon are flattering. A great deal of interest is manifested in the city as to the outcome. In honor of the opening of the season in this city, the Jamestown Evening Journal's large flag has floated to the breeze all day. The opposition Olean team was greeted at the train station and took quarters at the Humphrey House. It was escorted there by a large delegation of Jamestown baseball enthusiasts. Ironically, there was a semi-pro team known as the Originals who played in Jamestown at this time. They played at Penfold Park. What's interesting to note that the Originals in 1890 established a new policy in the area that said, quote, "This year, the management promised that no intoxicating liquors will be allowed or sold on the grounds. Persons who want liquor must go to the hotel for it." Such were the days in the 1890s. Finally, on Friday, May 16, 1860, Jamestown's career as a league city was inaugurated. The headline cried, "Now we're off." Jamestown wins the opening game in the city of New York and Pennsylvania League. Kelly makes the first home run. Yes, sir, that's our guy, R.A. Kelly. In fact, his home run was described as follows. Nash cut out a single, and Kelly meandered up to the oyster. After looking over the pitcher's assortment of curves, he fitted one to the end of his bat and with a simple twist of the wrist, dropped it over the right field fence, beside the Tippecanoe log cabin. The spectators stretched their vocal cords and cheered until the knots fell out of the grandstand siding, while Kelly single-footed it around the bases. You gotta love the King's English. The article concluded, if the ending of the season is as auspicious as the beginning has been, there will be no cause of complaint from the Pearl City. The home team won the initial contest of the season and won it upon the merits, by virtue of the magnetism that the members of the club have stored up in their bat bags. How they did hit the ball. They injured the pitcher's feelings and made his fielder's foot sore, and loosened the cover of the bullet in almost every inning. When it comes to a technical knowledge of how to straighten out an out curve or to spoil the beauty of an in-shoot, they, Olean, clearly are not in with Roxburgh's aggregation. Thus was the beginning of a wonderful first season for Jamestown. R.A. Kelly got a new hat for making his first home run at Marvin Park. What about R.A. Kelly? The Society of American Baseball Research indicated that Richard Andrew Kelly was a Negro who played initially in Danville in Illinois and then in Jamestown for the years 1890 and 1891. The early season had problems with weather and drainage. The field got so bad that the local management had made arrangements with Farmer Warner whereby he will open up his mill dam tonight and keep it open Sunday, thus lowering the outlet water so there will be no interference on that score with the Erie-Jamestown game Monday. They also went on, the Jamestown Journal, referring to Marvin Park and an encouragement of the management that they should not delay in having the entire front of the grandstand protected by wire network. At present, there is an opening at each end of the stand and a wide opening at the top in the center through which foul balls often come so swiftly as to cause severe injury if one should strike a child. High water and grandstand improvements were not the only issues of the first year. There were so many postponements that the locals never knew whether the game was going to be played. Finally, the Jamestown Evening Journal indicated that when games are to be played on the grounds in the city, a flag will be hoisted there as notification. The 1890 season was a memorable one for Jamestown, not only because it was the first professional team, the first professional champion, but also the place where one of the last black players in organized baseball played. Kelly batted .245 with 3 home runs that year. 1891 season was a split season with Erie winning the first half and Jamestown winning the second half. After that season, R.A. Kelly returned to Indiana and retired from professional baseball. However, his 2 years in Jamestown left an indelible mark on the history of local baseball, as well as the history of black baseball in organized ball during that period of time. R.A. Kelly, in the national statistics, was listed as the only Negro playing here in his second year in Jamestown. Robert Peterson received correspondence from his daughter back in 1975. Daughter Lola recalls Jamestown when she states, "My mother and I were with him in Jamestown, New York, all the time he played on the team. I watched him, played often." This is a remarkable letter.